all eyes around the state, around the country, around the world are on the Indiana Fever. And Bria, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Let that sink in. Caitlin Clark recently completed an accomplishment in 41 games that took Diana Taurasi 565 games to do. The rookie to senior leap we're seeing may be the biggest in professional basketball history.
There it is! A triple.
While everyone is focusing on her triple-double, Clark and the Indiana Fever actually shattered 11 records in that game. I've examined every minute of the Fever's thumping of the Chicago sky, and what I discovered will astound you. I've got the Fever down below, so let's go. Caitlin Clark's triple-double was just the start of a night that permanently altered the WNBA record books. If you're rocking with Indiana, comment below.
Having the Fever organization be what it is today, like, it is just so fun to be a part of. There's been a lot of anticipation.
You've done a great job in training camp leading to this moment. Enjoy it. Okay, go out there and have some fun.
Dana Bonner, who is only 7 points away from basketball immortality after 15 years of professional excellence, thousands of baskets, and now standing on the verge of becoming the third highest scorer in WNBA history, did something truly historic that night while everyone's eyes were on Caitlin Clark.
Bonner is the fourth all-time leading scorer in WNBA history, and in her first game with the Fever, will likely move into third all-time. She's currently just 6 points behind Tina Thompson for third on the all-time scoring charts.
The question that lingered as the game against Chicago started was whether anyone would even notice this milestone with all the Fever mania going on. Bonner has been scoring points since 2009, steadily moving up the scoring ranks through stints with Phoenix, Connecticut, and now Indiana, and she was only 7 points away from surpassing Tina Thompson on the all-time list.
Bonner, who knocks it away. Cookies, DB, open court, right side, and she lays it in.
When the time came, Bonner was brought to the free throw line to attempt 2 shots in the last quarter. In front of a cheering audience, the first one swished in to tie the record, and the second one propelled her above 7,488 career points, making her only the third player in the WNBA's 28-year history to reach this scoring peak.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good. Joanna Bonner now third in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting. And here's the ovation for Bonner.
The fact that Bonner has changed the culture of the Fever makes her accomplishment even more remarkable. She is not just an elderly player seeking fame. She is a 6-time All-Star with 2 championships who instills winning DNA in a young team in need of direction. When she speaks in the locker room, players like Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hall pay attention.
You know, DB is somebody that, is a Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, a great person, a great leader. The strongest voice in our locker room is hers, and it's fun to have been around here now for about a month just to get to learn from her and soak it in, and I'm really happy she got to do it at the free throw line and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she certainly deserved that moment, and it was really awesome to see and be a part of.
When the PA announcer announced the milestone, the Indiana crowd gave her a standing ovation, demonstrating that basketball fans still appreciate talent that lasts for decades even in this age of viral highlights and youthful superstars. As remarkable as her accomplishment was, the night was just getting started when another Fever star was set to remind everyone why Indiana's future looks so frighteningly bright. Remember when people questioned whether Aaliyah Boston could truly dominate, especially against fellow South Carolina alumnus Camila Cardoso, who stands at 6 feet 7 inches. They got their answer in the most emphatic way possible against the Chicago Sky. Bonner's ascent to become the third all-time leading scorer wasn't just a personal accomplishment. It set the tone for what would become a night of record-breaking performances. Now, she only has Tina Charles ahead of her at 7,696 points for the second spot on the all-time list.
All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an effort.
Boston started her third season with a goal to demonstrate that she wasn't just interested in becoming a fantastic player, but also wanted to become a franchise mainstay alongside Clark, the team that would lead Indiana for the ensuing 10 years and create the groundwork for something unique to develop in Indianapolis. The Chicago frontcourt arrived in full force. Reese spent the entire week discussing her strategy for controlling the paint in opposition to Boston's press conferences and Instagram posts. Even during the warm-ups, Reese made it apparent that she believed she would dominate the matchup. Boston's defensive masterclass left fans stunned, with 5 blocks that sent Sky players' shots flying into the stands. Every time Reese took a shot, the fans would jump out of their seats and point at the scoreboard. Boston appeared to be waiting right there. When you consider that players have been grabbing rebounds for the Fever for decades and Boston is already in the top 10 all-time, her defensive prowess moved her to 6th in blocks in Fever history. Those 13 rebounds weren't just impressive, they were historic. Boston's performance moved Boston to 8th in rebounds in Fever franchise history in just her third season. With 13 rebounds and 5 blocks, Boston achieved something extremely uncommon. She became just the second player in WNBA history to have 15-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 5-plus blocks in a season opener. The first was Natasha Howard in 2014, which is extremely uncommon for any player, much less one in her third year. All night long, the combination between Clark and Boston was flawless. Clark kept finding her big for easy baskets, making high-low passes here and precisely timed bounce passes there, while Boston continued to guard the rim as if it were state secrets whenever Chicago thought they had a lane to the basket. Although Reese managed to grab 17 rebounds, Boston slammed the door shut. She struggled to score in Boston's well-timed games and shot just 5 for 14 from the field, which severely hurt her offensive game. The highly anticipated game became a defensive posture and timing clinic.
Yes, great job of those long arms of Aaliyah Boston here, going up multiple times and then...
However, the most astounding display of defensive genius occurred when Boston and a teammate set a record never before seen in WNBA opening night history. This partnership would cause guards and scoring wings all over the league to reconsider how they attack the Indiana defense. Not only was what Caitlin Clark did against the Sky amazing, but it was something we have never seen in the WNBA's 28-year history. No one, not even Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, or Cheryl Swoops, has ever done what she did in that season opener. After breaking 62 records in her rookie season and turning the Fever from a lottery club to a playoff contender, fans had high hopes for Clark going into her sophomore season. They wondered what she would do for an encore, but no one saw what was going to happen versus Chicago.
Ready for the season to tip off. It's the Fever against the Chicago Sky. We saw record crowds a season ago, and I'd say they are back and raring to go in 2025.
Within the opening few minutes of the game, Clark was already on fire and made a logo 3 that had the defenders shaking their heads. As it passed through, the ball hardly made contact with the net.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the Chicago Sky in a blowout victory, and I have 3 words. Oh my God. Or now you know.
That was only the start. Clark began seeing passing lanes that no one else could see, threading needles with passes that seemed impossible. She grabbed rebounds over taller players, outjumped them with perfect timing, and most surprisingly, she blocked shots like never before. She played like someone who had spent the entire offseason dominating on both ends of the court.
Not the first one in your career, but you had 4 blocks out there. That's more than you ever had in college. Matches your WNBA career high. Felt like you were channeling the spirit of Gabby Marshall out there with the blocks. Is that a part of your game that you've been working on the postseason? Are we going to see more blocks out of you as your career grows up?
Not really.
The Clark-Boston connection peaked when they combined for 9 blocks, the most by any duo in a season-opening game in league history. Consider that a point guard and center combining for 9 blocks. That's the kind of defensive impact typically reserved for Twin Towers front courts, not a guard-center pairing. Her 4 blocks set a career high and became the most blocks by a point guard in a WNBA season opener. This shocked everyone who believed defense was her weakness. These weren't just weak games either. They were forceful rejections that energized the entire team.
Not really something you can work on. I don't know, I felt like I had active hands. I had some pokes when our post players were playing good defense, and coaching staff has just challenged me to try to be a better defender every single practice and just getting better in that area. I still feel like there's a lot of room for me to improve. I don't think any of those blocks were too obvious. You look at the stat sheet, it's like, oh wow, 4, but you can get your hand on there and help your teammate out. It makes a world of a difference. So.
As the fourth quarter began, anticipation built throughout the arena. Clark needed just 2 assists and 1 rebound for history. The crowd sat on the edge of their seats as she chased the first ever 20-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist triple-double in a season opener. Every time she passed the ball, fans held their breath. Every missed shot had them watching to see if she'd grab the board. With just under 5 minutes left, Clark secured her 10th assist on a perfect pass to Aaliyah Boston for a mid-range jumper. The crowd erupted. Then minutes later, she came back to the game to snag her 10th rebound, sending the arena into absolute pandemonium. History had been made, and everyone knew it. Clark's 20-point, 10-rebound, 10-assist performance wasn't just her 3rd career triple-double, it made her number 3 in the all-time triple-double list. She became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 3 career triple-doubles, needing just 41 games, while also tying Alyssa Thomas for the 2nd most 20-point triple-doubles ever.
There it is! A triple.
The most astounding statistic, however, demonstrates how quickly Clark is rewriting the record books. She now has 9 games with 20 points or more and 10 assists, ranking 2nd all-time behind Courtney Vanderloot. What's even more amazing is that she accomplished this in just 41 games, whereas Diana Taurasi required 565 games to reach that mark with 9 such games, and Courtney Vanderloot required 430 games to reach 10 such performances. That's what sets Clark apart from all the other players in this league. What it takes other players their entire careers to achieve, she's doing in her first 41 games. She's not only breaking records, but she's also changing our perception of what a professional basketball player can achieve. If Clark keeps up even a small portion of this pace, she will surpass all previous significant WNBA point assists and triple-double records. That's not hyperbole, it's math.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar. Not a female superstar, she is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle.
What we just saw against the Sky is more than a victory. It's the beginning of a dynasty that could rule women's basketball for the next 10 years. The Fever's 35-point thumping of Chicago is more than just a routine win. It shows what happens when generations of talent come together at the right time. This wasn't just any blowout, though. It was the 2nd largest win margin in Indiana Fever history. Although some may write this off as a single game, the statistics paint a different picture of what's truly happening in Indiana. Breaking 11 records in one night is not an anomaly. Rather, it serves as a warning to the league's other teams.
She just absolutely did it all and became a magnet for attention and an icon for sports fans, certainly little girls, certainly mine as well, playing her basketball and watching her play.
The Clark-the defensive partnership wasn't supposed to develop this quickly. Most experts predicted it would take years for them to develop this level of court awareness together. but Boston Connection is already breaking records as a duo. Their combined 9 blocks show they're developing two-way chemistry that goes beyond scoring. This roster is incredibly balanced. You have a third-year dominant big man in Boston who is already moving up the team record books, and you have a sophomore star in Clark who is setting records at a rate never seen before. Veterans like Bonner Howard, who have won championships and had extensive playoff experience, Carlson. Sydney young talent like Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hall, who are just starting their careers, are led by Brianna Turner and Sophie Cunningham.
Well, the regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what did the kids say? Belt to ass? Oh yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky. 93-58.
It's difficult not to get enthusiastic when you watch how fast the squad is playing. The defensive rotations are precise, and the spacing is ideal. Young teams usually struggle with ball movement, but the Fever are making it look effortless. This isn't just about one historic night. It's about seeing the development of a team that has the potential to revolutionize WNBA basketball and bring Indiana numerous titles. Clark, Boston, and this Fever team are just getting started, and the rest of the league should be scared about what comes next if they're breaking 11 records in one night. What happens when they really hit their stride? What happens when the team reaches peak chemistry? This isn't just a good team having a good night. This is the beginning of something historic in women's basketball, and the gap between the Fever and the rest of the league will only get wider from here. We're witnessing the basketball equivalent of watching the early Chicago Bulls before their championship runs.
They won 93-58.
With a 35-point thumping of the Chicago Sky, the second largest margin of victory in the team's history, the Indiana Fever not only won a game, but also signaled their arrival as a force in women's basketball. When a team breaks 11 records in one night, history is being made right in front of your eyes, and this Fever team may just be getting started. The question isn't whether Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah, if you're crushing with Indiana, Boston, and the Indiana Fever, will smash more records this season. The issue is, how many more will they break before they're done? Remark to ensure you don't miss anything. Subscribe and enable all alerts. I've got the Fever down below.